Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is How Do We Manifest Things in Our Lives? And I know a lot of people talk about the idea of manifesting. There are certain theories that if we're able to always be positive in our lives and have positive thoughts, then we'll create more. There are other types of manifesting techniques when we actually have to feel the emotion of the thing we want already happening. And so it's believed that if we could have the feeling and we can create that vibration, then we will actually create and attract those things. And I'm sure a lot of people have manifested through these methods. But for me, because of my fear of the unknown, it was always impossible for me to hold a positive feeling or an emotion or a thought when things were happening in my life that were stressing me out, or I was afraid I couldn't have the life that I wanted. So these ideas of manifesting never fully work for me. And if you're like me and you grapple with the unknown, how do we manifest? How do we find a technique that we could overcome this and create beautiful, wonderful, abundant things in our lives? And for me, I've been able to do this through the mindset of maybe. Maybe is really not just for stress and worry and presence. It also is a wonderful manifesting technique. And there are many reasons why it helps us manifest. First, it helps us let go of the past. It helps us accept things as they are. It quiets our fears and our stress. It puts us more in touch with our true selves, so we are clear about our intentions and our goals. It allows us to be grateful for what we have, so we create resources. And it creates a situation that we allow things to come into our lives. And we look at the future as a field of open possibilities. With maybe, the future doesn't frighten us. We get to a point that the unknown future makes us feel alive and creative and hopeful. In truth, maybe is hope without attachment. And it's a beautiful place to stand. And I know when I am fully in maybe, wonderful things happen in my life. And sometimes I think they're happening because I'm not holding on to the past and I'm not afraid of the future. So I have a very clear view of the moment and what I want, so I make really good decisions. And other times I believe that I'm just in the state of allowing, the state of freedom and openness. And because of this, I attract things into my life. So either way, when I'm in a state of maybe, amazing things are happening. And I'm not saying that when I'm in a state of maybe, bad things don't happen or things that I don't like or I find upsetting, but I'm able to work through them with the maybe practice. And over time, I go back to that state. So I allow my feelings, which to me is very important. And sometimes I find those other techniques don't permit that. We're not allowed to process our negativity. Because when we're able to process our feelings over time, we can go back to maybe. And over time, we can gain our strength back. And over time, we create new things in our lives. And maybe always reminds us of that. It reminds us that each moment is new. And just because things didn't work out the way we wanted, just because our past is not the way we wanted it to be, it doesn't mean that our future can't be different. Life has maybe. And maybe we will find our way. Maybe we will achieve our goals. Maybe there's still a lot for us to experience in this lifetime. And I know I've gone over a lot of these ideas on prior podcasts. But when you put it all together, it creates a manifesting practice. And it's really been so helpful for me. And I hope it will be helpful for you. So I'm going to discuss each part of the practice. So it will be very helpful if you're able to write it down. Now, the first thing you do is to use your maybe practice to let go of the past. When we regret the past, we are in a reverse maybe because we think about things that didn't happen in our lives, choices we didn't make, and we think life would have been better. And so this creates an energy of regret and being stuck and really believing you can no longer have the life that you want. But when we do this, we forget that any choice we would have made in our life would have had twists and turns, and you could never know where another choice would have brought you. All you really know each day is that every choice you have made has brought you to this moment. And in this moment, you have the hope and possibility that you could still create the life that you want. And also then think about the things that are beautiful in your life. Those other choices you regret not making might have taken these beautiful things away. So remember, when you regret things, you make it like that one choice would have just changed one thing, but it would have changed everything in this present moment, including the things that you love. And they are your resources, the place to stand to create a new life. So basically, the first two steps when you're looking to manifest, use the maybe practice to let go of the past and to be grateful for what you have. And then as you start to let go of the past, then you'll start to see how afraid you are of the future. And again, you do the maybe practice. You write down your biggest fears. I'm afraid I can't have the life that I want. I'm afraid I'll never find a job. I'm afraid I'll never fall in love. You question those fears. You ask yourself, am I absolutely certain those fears are true? And because you can't be certain of anything, you do the maybe practice. Maybe these thoughts are not true. Maybe things will get better. Maybe everything is still okay. And then you can use specific maybe statements regarding specific things that you might want to think about doing. And what this does, it quiets your mind. It quiets the stress and worry because maybe everything is okay. And as you quiet down, you start to connect with your true intentions, your goals. When you're not regretting the past, you're not afraid of the future, you're present and you're connected, and you will be free to connect with what you truly want in your life. And you become less afraid because you realize that because life is uncertain, that means everything is still possible. It builds courage, it builds clarity, it builds creativity. And then you start to think, what do I really want in my life? And you start to say, I want this particular job. I want to go back to school. I really want to meet someone. And then you think about, what actions do I need to take? And as you take those actions, again, you remember the maybe. So when things don't happen exactly the way that you want, or you're disappointed, instead of giving up, you just realize that maybe it'll happen another way. There are many ways to be okay. Maybe my dream is still possible. Maybe this could still happen. Maybe I need to look at this differently. So whatever it is, maybe will never let you down. It keeps you on the playing field. It helps you stay strong with your intentions and your goals. You just might need to find another way to get there. And when you're done with all of these things you need to do, you sit back. I actually like to put my hands together and hold them and cup them a little bit. And I close my eyes and I imagine an empty cup. And I say, I am ready and available to receive. And sometimes I'll sit there for 2 to 3 minutes or even 5 minutes. And I take some deep breaths and I just allow. I say, I am willing. I allow new things to come into my life. I am open and willing to see it differently. I let go of the past. I am thankful for this moment. And I embrace all that can be. And you can remind yourself of this entire practice every day. Sometimes we don't realize that we're so stressed, we're so worried about what's to come and what happened before that we shut down. When life is trying to give us something, change something for us, offer us something new. But when we go into a state of maybe, and we do this practice, every moment is new. When we go into a state of maybe, we remember all that's possible. It's such a beautiful way to live, and I promise you, if you do this practice and you constantly remember the steps of manifesting with maybe, your life will change. You'll have more ease, you'll have more joy, creativity, presence, and courage to pursue the things you truly want. And you will always remember that maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you'd like to listen to my new audiobook for The Gift of Maybe, It's available on all major audio platforms. And remember, the Maybe cards and the Maybe journal are also now available on Amazon, Etsy, Instagram, and TikTok on my Stan Store. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.